Well, now that BFDIA is over, a question that everyone is going to be asking themselves, was Book's victory deserved? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Remember to like and subscribe, and let's start the video. So, as you already know, Book finally won BFDIA, and the finale of BFDIA happened. But now the question I want to ask is, was it deserved? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to compare Book to any of the final 10 winning. This is because I can't really know what a Dora or Donut win would look like because they got out so early. So I'm just going to assume any of the final 10 could win. So let's start. Now, Ruby is a pretty interesting winning candidate. If she won, it would probably be very funny-like, as she was never meant to be taken seriously. But would it be deserved? I'm gonna be honest, probably not. I would prefer if someone had at least some story value, and Book does have some, while Ruby, not so much. She might have been able to develop story later on, and maybe a small arc, but nothing on Book's level. Now, let's do Balmy. And I don't really know how this win would go down. I think Balmy could have an interesting win. If he didn't get out in BFDIA 16, I think he would have had some arc, maybe with Fries, especially with the get digging thing. But again, it's kind of hard to determine how his victory would go down. But if he did stay, I think it might have been deserved. However, our next contestant, Pencil, would be very interesting if she won. She definitely had some story in BFDIA with the whole Free Smart thing. It would have been cool to see her as the last Free Smart member. And she was the leader at the end of the day. If she had won BFDIA, she could have developed a bit of an ego, which is why Book and Ice Cube leave in BFB and would develop in IDFB. So I think maybe a Pencil win would be deserved. Now on to Nickel, and his victory would look a lot like Ruby's. It would have been a lighthearted victory. But the thing with Nickel is he could have actually had some story. Now, yes, it wouldn't be anything like Coiny or Pin stuff, but it could be interesting, especially with this chunk thing. I don't know, I just think people really enjoyed Nickel, and seeing him win would definitely surprise a lot of fans. He's also a newbie in this season, which is also good, and yeah, I think his win would be very fun to see. And if he continued to do a lot of cool stuff like he did in BFDIA 16, I think his win is more than deserved, to be honest. So yeah, a Nickel win is definitely deserved. Now on to Fries. And yeah, this one is very, very, very easy. If Fries had won, it would have been deserved. End of story. Dude, Fries was so good in BFDIA post-hiatus. It's a little sad how I didn't realize it back then, and I actually disliked Fries. But bro, Fries was amazing in BFDIA post-hiatus. He was extremely funny, and was actually a very strong competitor. Not only that, but him working alone was one of the better plots in BFDIA. He's also a newbie, so that helps too. And yeah, I think Fries had a lot of really fun dynamics with the other BFDIA characters. If he had continued to survive post-Final 6, I think he would have been a very good winning candidate. He just made the episodes amazing. So yeah, his win would have been deserved. And yeah, the same goes for Pin. She had an amazing plot in BFDIA. It kind of sucks how she was so hated. If she had survived the BFDIA 20 elimination, she would have definitely been the best winning candidate. Her plot was so good. And yup, the same is true for Coiny, the other member in the plot. Though I do find him slightly less interesting than Pin, he still had a very good run overall. I remember when he and Tennis Ball were the most popular winning candidates back when BFDIA 6 first released. And he did have an amazing arc with Pin. He was also pretty funny, which is very good for a BFDIA character because being funny is the point of the season. But he's not too funny to where it's his only personality. So yeah, I think a Coiny win would have been very deserved. And yeah, I think we all know where Tennis Ball is going to place. His win would have been way too predictable and way too undeserved. Like, in my video where I showed who won the BFDIA prize, he won it 4 times, which is the most out of any character, by the way. And okay, I will admit, He was not that bad in BFDIA, but just compared to the others, he was easily the worst. He honestly should have gone out over Fries in BFDIA 18, to be honest. He definitely did have some good moments, but overall, he did not deserve the win if he got it. And on to our last one, Needle, and I think she's the most interesting. Yes, she has a very, very good plot, but was it better than Book's? And I think that her and Book's plot were pretty similar in how much it affected them. And I would have to say her win would be deserved, but I still think Book was the better candidate. But Needle wouldn't have been a bad victory by any means. So, was the Book victory deserved? Yeah, I think so. Outside of Fries and Pin, Book was probably the best candidate out of the final 10 to win, and I was pretty happy with the outcome overall. I think Needle and Book both had a pretty fair chance at winning, and considering their votes are pretty close, it shows that the victory could have been either Needle or Book, which is just not something you see in BFB or BFDI, where the votes are very far apart from each other. And it was pretty clear who was going to win. Like, everyone knew by the end of BFB, Flower was going to win. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Do you think Book's win was deserved? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, go watch this video, and have a good one.